Hey everybody, what's up? Kevin here once again from the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today YouTube channel. And today we are going to be reviewing the third album from the metalcore band Wage War. This is Pressure! So for those of you who do not know how these album reviews work or completely forgot about them, here's how they work. First, I will give you pre-context into the album and how the band has gotten to this point so we're all on the same page. Then I'm going to go through the album song by song and give you my take on it, from the meaning of the song to how it's constructed instrumentally, melody-wise, tempo-wise, vocally, vocal pattern, all that stuff, and give you my thought on the song. Then at the end of that, I will rate the album on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being, eating a poisonous pine cone, and 10 eating a nice filet mignon. And of course, don't worry, at the end I will describe why I gave it that rating, so don't you worry. And, well, enough with that. Let's get to it. Okay, so let's give a little context into how the band got to this point and how I found out about them. So this is the band's third album, with the first coming out in 2014, the second coming out in 2016. Now, I found out about this band, that this album was coming out, through my buddy Chris, who said, hey, you gotta go check this out, because he really liked one of the singles. So I thought, okay, I'll go check it out, and I listened to it, and I thought, this definitely has to be an album that I have to, because the singles sound absolutely fantastic. I was blown away by them, and I thought, this is going to be incredible. I cannot wait to do this album review. Now, the band, before they really were under that Wage War, space, they lost a lot of their music when they were doing a MySpace server integration, and it's just, there's no backup file, so they completely lost it, and it seemed like an album to come out was definitely needed. So, shall we get into Wage War's Pressure? I think we should. Alrighty, so let's go to song number 1 on this album, and this was the second single to come off of Pressure. This is the song Who I Am. Now, the song discusses keeping your identity of yourself when people around you are trying to have you go in a way that they would go. So they're trying to have your life be the way they want your life to be, and how you should, kind of go against that. So the intro brings in this absolutely great guitar riff that makes you just want to listen to the rest of the song no matter what else happens, and that kind of riff stays throughout the whole entire song, and I like the move because it was a great riff, I'm not gonna lie, I really like it. Vocally, we do again get that standard metalcore construction where it's verse, chorus, breakdown, chorus, where it's unclean vocals in the verse and clean vocals in the chorus and unclean vocals in the breakdown. Now, there's nothing too special with the vocal pattern here. This is pretty standard. But I really like how the breakdown in this one works, and the say it to my face really brings the message to the forefront. I really do like this. Overall, I like the song a lot because that leading guitar riff and the breakdown really kind of wants me to, repeat listening to this. And this is why this song was our Song of the Day choice when this album was released. So, good song, guys. Good single. Coming in at song number 2, we have the 4th single off of Pressure, and this is Prison. Now, this song really focuses in on the theme of depression and how you can hold your own self back based on that depression that you cause yourself. And God, don't I know I did that? Let's go back to 2017 for that. No, let's never go back there. Do not want to think about the second half of that year. Alrighty, so the band said they stepped kind of out of the box on this one because it harbors a lot of aggression with some twists, and I'm like, you know what? I looked at that, thought it was interesting. Let's see if they pulled it off. So the intro is hard, and again, it has that rapid pace going for it, which brings you in a little bit more. I thought, you know what? It's not as inviting as Who I Am was, but this is still pretty good. So the song seems to take more of a hard rock approach as you really get into it, when you don't get those really, heavy guitar riffs or that heavy drum beat that you get in that metalcore sense. I thought, you know what? This is an interesting move that I do like because, me, I like the hard rock stuff. Vocally, they mix the clean and unclean vocals, between the verses actually a little bit more. And the chorus is rather clean to begin with and then goes unclean right at the end, which I like how that mixes up, but then again, we're still getting that same construction of verse, chorus, breakdown, chorus. So wasn't the biggest fan of that, as it's like, you know what, can we get a little bit of mix up here? But I do like the mix up when they go mixing unclean and clean vocals in the verse and the chorus. So overall, this does have that great mix between clean and unclean, which I really do like, and I do like the focus on the hard rock construction, so am I going to give this one a thumbs up? You better believe it. Coming in at number 3, we have the song Grave. And this song is all about someone basically who has wronged you in the past or really has kept you down in the past, and you've got to do something about it to try and break out of that mold. And honestly, the day this album was released, I thought, you know what, this is definitely something I thought, I have dealt with, and one of my friends I know is currently dealing with, so I'm like, this is way too relevant, oh my god. But, It sounds like something I've dealt with for years. I'm an expert at this stuff. What can I say? So I was really intrigued by the sound of this one with the intro, due to the fact that it sounded like could go metalcore, and then to a post-hardcore, a little bit poppy mix. I'm like, this is really interesting. I'm a little intrigued by this. The chorus in this one, though, was incredibly sloppy. I really didn't like it because it was so repetitive in the vocals, and that guitar and the drums, the instrumentation, just did not mix well, in my opinion, on this one. Because I was also waiting for some unclean vocals to really kind of come in and really get that aggression out there, because when you're feeling like this and you feel like you're kind of stuck and you don't know what to do and you're feeling down, sometimes you just want to get that aggression out because you really can feel it. And it just wasn't here out with those unclean vocals, which really would have helped out this song. As I was looking online for this, a lot of people were really big on this song, and this was one of my least favorites on the record. Again, when I looked at why people liked this song, they liked how the experimentation sounded, which I do have to respect because it's their opinion. But the construction within the pattern with verse, chorus, breakdown, chorus was pretty much still there. And with those unclean vocals, man, this one just kind of fell real flat for me. It was a big misstep and a big missed opportunity by Wage War. Alright, song number 4, we have the song Ghost, and this one really focuses in on how people, like the people of Wage War and anyone else in a band, can really feel like a ghost to their friends and family due to the fact that they are focusing so hard on making their dreams come true and working as hard as they can to make it happen. And I do totally respect the move, so I do like the fact they made a song really centered around that. And this is more of a classic metalcore construction with both the instrumentation and the construction vocal pattern with a harder instrumentation, and again, you're going to get that verse, chorus, breakdown, chorus, with the verse and the breakdown being unclean and the chorus being clean, which has got very repetitive to this point, I will not line. So the one thing that really shines for me in this one is the guitar, especially the solo, because it really plays well with the tempo, and it really, kind of brings you back into the song. I thought, you know what, this is nice. Was not a big fan of Ghost the first time I heard it, but on my second pass through, I was a little bit more intrigued by it, especially because of that guitar solo. So I'm kind of mixed on the song, but there are parts I really like about it, and there's parts I dislike about it, but, that's going to happen, so what you going to do? Alright, so coming at number 5, we have the third single off of the album, which was Me Against Myself. Now, looking at the meaning of this, it follows what Prison really went to, where you're talking about being at war with yourself over something you brought onto yourself, whether it's, depression that, you feel you caused yourself or something of the sort, which, again, I really do resonate well with. Instrumentally, the song does not really follow that metalcore construction, but it really follows that more hardcore and melodic hardcore construction, which, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, but I thought this one was done rather well for the instrumentation at that point. Vocally, I gotta say, this is probably one of the best performances I have heard all of 2019, because the song uses mostly clean vocals. They're a little bit more mellow through the verses, but then when the chorus comes in, the pitch and the emotion is brought up, and it really hits you hard, especially with the meaning. Those unclean vocals are used rather sparingly on this one, but when they're brought in, they really do bring out that aggression of war with yourself, and I thought this was a great mixture of the vocals. It was a great, compelling mix that really brought the theme out there, and I think this is a Song of the Year contender for 2019. I will not lie on this one. I really like this one, and I've listened to this one over and over and over again since its release as a single. So coming at number 6, we have the song Hurt, and Hurt really goes into the pain you really feel when you're going through something in life where it's really bringing you down, like depression, anxiety, all that kind of stuff, and you really want to find a way to end it, and that suicide isn't the answer for it, because we'd much rather have you here on Earth than not have you here at all. And of course, I felt this one very much because, again, second half 2017, early 2018. Been there, done that. So, this song does take that more of a somber approach, which really works well, again, with the theme of the song, because it just makes sense to have a more somber approach when you're dealing with something that heavy and something that's going to really try and resonate well with people. Instrumentally, they take more of a heavy tone here that's slower, but it really does work well in here. The vocals are pretty much all clean on this one, and that's where I have an issue with this one, because, again, when I was going through this stuff, I would feel anger sometimes. I felt down a lot, but I was hoping for the inclusion a little bit more of some unclean vocals just to really drive it home and really just get that all-encompassing feel of what it feels like to go through that kind of stuff. And it just wasn't there, and I thought it was a huge missed opportunity, because it would have easily upped the profile of the song, especially with what they can do with those vocals. And again, just missed the mark with Hurt. They had a chance, great idea, they just didn't execute. Coming number 7, we have the first single that came out in January of 2019, which is Low. Now, this came out before the album was even released, and about 6 months later, that's when they're like, yep, now we're going to announce the album, and now we're going to put out more singles, and this is going to be, that was the lead single, so Kind of weird, but, you know, it works, gets more intrigue for the album. The song is about, you know, again, battling that depression and anxiety. So it's, again, battling that kind of stuff is a clear theme of pressure by Wage War. Now, this is very similar to Who I Am, where the guitar riff is going to try and pull you right in. It keeps up that fast-paced metalcore style momentum, and it really, again, brings you in. Vocally, you know, we get another of that classic instrument, you know, metalcore kind of style construction. Unclean verses, clean chorus, unclean verses, clean chorus, unclean breakdown, clean chorus. So it is, again, getting rather repetitive up to this point if you've gone 1 through 12, and even though we're at number 7. The one thing I didn't like about the chorus, though, was I do like the fact they went with a higher pitch, especially given the fact that, you know, it could work, but I think they just went a little too high on this one. It just didn't really hit you right, and it could have hit better, so that's my thought about it. But overall, you know, for the first single on this album, again, this was rather serviceable. We'll put it that way, serviceable. At number 8, we have The Line. This song is really all about holding in all of that and not really exposing to the public what you're going through, and they're wondering, where's the line when you have to expose that stuff and you have to talk to people about it and get the help you need, otherwise something's bad's gonna happen and then we're not gonna have you here anymore. I believe this, again, is a rather interesting take on what happened in 2017 and how the impact of the passing of Chester Bennington has been not only in the rock community but on mental health as well, and we still do miss him dearly to this day, but his influence is still everywhere, and as a rock music fan, I absolutely love that his influence has not died, especially 2 years following us not having him here anymore, and I think that's never going to stop because Chester was such an important person in rock music. So the song takes an opposite approach to what Hurt did, even though it was given a similar theme. The instrumentation really drives on this one with a lighter tone, and it has a much more rapid pace to it. The vocals, again, are mostly clean on this one, which, again, I think makes sense, but the unclean vocals do come in at the beginning and at the end of the song, which I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. It's, you know, I do have something wrong with the song, and I think the thing that I can't get with the song is I can't find its identity. It wants to be one thing, but it sounds a completely different way. I wasn't a big fan of it just due to the fact that I couldn't figure out what it really wanted to be, and the mix just did not feel right between the vocals and the instrumentation. Something just seemed completely off here, and I just didn't really care for it. Just gonna put that way, just didn't care for the line. At number 9, we have the song Fury, and we get to Fury when I looked at it and what the meaning of the song was. Think of the last scene from 8 Mile with Eminem where he just goes off and tells everything that, you know, you're going to say against him, owns it, and then says, you know, now what? This is kind of the thing where people are going to try and use your shortcomings against you and own your shortcomings, own your faults, and really just take it head on and just see what happens because you're going to become a better person for it. Now, the intro, again, brings you kind of that heavy metalcore style, and the heavy drum beat is something that, again, drew me in because I'm a sucker for the drums. Vocally, we get that classic metalcore construction. Unclean vocals, clean chorus, unclean vocals, clean chorus, unclean breakdown, clean chorus. I've said it so many times so far. Again, sound like a broken record. However, on this one, I think it makes a lot of sense because you're really using that anger in the the verses to get out that, you know, I'm mad at the fact that I got these faults, but I'm going to show you that I can beat you because I have these faults, but I own them. You can't use them against me. I'm going to use them as my freaking strengths. And I do like that, so I'm a big fan of it. The breakdown of this one brings in a little bit more of an electric feel to it, which I thought was actually a really good inclusion on this song. It brought some more depth to it. I thought, you know what, this is nice. So the construction of this one was well done. I'm not going to complain about it instrumentally because they did a good job. And even with that, you know, repetitive pattern that we've been seeing, this one it worked on. So at number 10, we have Forget My Name. This song is all about blocking out those people who have a specific agenda for you and focusing on exactly what you want to do in life and what's going to make you happy. The intro on this song, much faster pace, and it is a little bit of a lighter sound to it, but, you know, the clean vocals in this one actually kind of work. It reminded me a lot of like a style that Papa Roach might go with, and it kind of has that little bit of flow to it, but I couldn't really get a full vibe on the vocals, and I really couldn't figure out the full identity of this one. This song does give you a feel like you're kind of building up confidence within yourself, which again kind of does fit the theme on this one, and I'm not the biggest fan of the song. I do enjoy it at times, but the breakdown is where this one really gets me going because I really like the breakdown in this one. That's where this song shines. At number 11, we have Take the Fight. And Take the Fight, again, focusing on your passions, keeping that fire alive and not letting anyone else change it. So the theme of really focusing on yourself and your happiness and not letting other people really influence that is a big theme here, and I do like the consistency of the theme. The intro guitar for this one reminded me of something that I could have found on 1X, the album by 3 Days Grace, which I did enjoy. But then it focuses in on a heavier tone with a slower pace than what I thought we were going to see. So I thought, oh, interesting. The unclean vocals in the verse on this one really work because it drives a song in a certain direction, but then the chorus really kind of mellows it out, and I was really confused by this because the song has no identity because of this. I don't know what way it's supposed to go, especially even with that classic construction of unclean, clean, unclean, clean. It just did not really work well here. It lacked an identity of what the song truly could be, and after, listening to it a couple of times and coming back to it, I completely forgot about it. So, the no identity really kind of loses me on this one. At number 12, the last song we have on the album is Will We Ever Learn? And this song really focuses in on the political divide in the country today, commenting on the divide that has led us to that groupthink mentality and not thinking for ourselves. So very similar to what the Tool album was talking about, and kind of wrapping it up here as to what the Wage War album was talking about, with making sure you're focused on yourself, focused on your identity, and that we're going to repeat history if we don't stop this. And my high school homeroom teacher always had the FDR quote on there, those who fail to learn history are condemned to repeat it. And kind of makes sense. So the construction of the song is rather unlike any other song on this record. It really has this more dragged down tone to it. And it feels like the song is rather defeated, which kind of doesn't make sense, because if you're trying to completely change up the way we're going, why do we sound defeated? Why do we sound like it shouldn't, we're going to give up? It just doesn't really make sense to me. The fill in between the chorus and the verse does sound heavier, but it just kind of is really mixed up in here. I do like the clean vocals on this one because it could show the range like Me Against Myself did, but it fails to do that. The heavier breakdown changes the mix of the song up a lot, and it is interesting, but I really don't like this song at all, because at an end, when you end of the album, especially now where you're talking about focusing on yourself and really driving home, being confident, why does this song sound so defeated? Why does it sound like I should not care? It made me not really like this album towards the end, and it really left a huge, and I mean huge, sour taste in my mouth, and I wish they would have completely omitted this song from the record. If you really like this song, I'm sorry that, maybe I, maybe defended you on this one, but I thought they should have stripped this song from the record. Again, my opinion, but axe it. Alrighty, time for my overall rating on Pressure by Wage War, and I'm going to give Pressure by Wage War a 6 out of 10. Okay, so I'm giving Wage War's Pressure a 6 out of 10. So let's take a look at the things I really liked about this album. I really liked most of the themes of this album because, again, it focused a lot on the individual and really focusing on yourself and what's going to make you happy, which I'm a big proponent of, and it's really helped me out after those times of depression, so I really did like the way it went. The biggest thing this album had going for it was the singles on this album, because they went hard in that metalcore style that you expect on a song like Who I Am. They approached it in a weird hard rock wave that really did work well on Pressure, and a potential song of the year that's just constructed beautifully from beginning to end in every aspect with Me Against Myself, and mixing those clean, unclean vocals on Low, again, really worked out here. And I did like the fact they were willing to try some new things that they hadn't really done in the past, even though this album just really wasn't that much of a stale listen because there's a lot of things going back and forth, but it did provide a little bit of a different feel in terms of instrumentation, in terms of vocal styles, and I mean vocal pitches, not vocal pattern. I'll get to that later. But I liked how they kind of just took some chances, and of course, if you're a band, you got to take some chances. Why not keep it fresh? You might strike gold. You might find something in the fact that, you could be really good at covers like Disturbed is when they did the Sound of Sounds, when they did Land of Confusion. You got to take those chances, and I like the fact that they did try and take some chances. So what did I dislike about this album, and why isn't it higher? Now, a couple reasons. One, this really lacked a lot of musical identity. After going through it, I knew the consistent themes. They had this really consistent pattern, but it just couldn't lack an idea. I couldn't latch onto the album and couldn't find a single identity to it. It was a little bit too all over the board, even with those experimentation. I just thought, you know what? It's good song to song, like the singles were good, but as you put it all together, the album just does not have that full identity. Another thing I really couldn't stand about this album was its repetitiveness with, I kept saying it, unclean vocals, clean chorus, or unclean verses, clean chorus, unclean verses, clean chorus, unclean breakdown, clean chorus. It was constructed that way like 7, 8, 9 songs, and it did feel repetitive going through it, so I just got really sick and tired of it. I also really didn't like the fact that they didn't include unclean vocals in certain songs that really could have added to the profile of the song, such like Hurts really provide that feeling of frustration, and Grave to amplify the anger of dealing with a toxic person that you can really feel. It just lost me in there because I've felt those things before, and there's got to be included a little bit of that rage there, because I know of anyone else who's gone through that stuff, you do feel that rage from time to time, and it does help you get through that. Also, ending it correctly, they did not end this song well at all, or this album I should say, at all, just due to the fact that it felt so defeated for an album that was focused so much on proving yourself as an individual to yourself and making sure you find internal happiness. So it just, the other thing I didn't like about it was I thought this one was rather disappointing, and I'm not saying disappointing in a bad way. What I mean is the single set this thing up for such a high pedestal that it just couldn't match it, and it just kind of disappointed me a couple listens through because it didn't match the hype that I got from the 4 singles. So overall, I enjoyed the album to a point for what it was worth, but overall, there were a lot of flaws of it, and I do like the fact they experimented. Again, I respect it. However, the lack of identity, the repetitiveness, and the fact that it couldn't live up to the hype of the singles kept it down. But those singles, again, did bring it up, so that's why I went with a 6 out of 10. Alright guys, that's it for me. Thank you for watching the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 Today album review on Pressure by Wage War. If you think I got it right, give me that like. If you think I got it wrong, give me the dislike, but put it in the comments why you like or dislike it, and I'll talk to you because I want to see what your thoughts are on this album. Also, if you want to subscribe to this channel, which you should, hit that subscribe button. Not that button. Get it out of here. Hit the one in the corner because that's actually going to subscribe you to our stuff. And that bell icon because you get notified every time we release a video, which is every single Wednesday and sometimes Mondays. So, woohoo! Let's get those out of there. Let's talk about our social media accounts. Follow us on Facebook because on Facebook, you're going to find out every single song of the day, every single podcast, every single YouTube video. This is going to be where you go to find out where everything is and get to those links. So, follow us on there. Also, follow us on Twitter because on Twitter we're going to talk to you guys about music and what's going on in the world of music and get your thoughts on things. Also, follow us on Instagram too because we not only will talk to you about what's going on in music, we do some special things such as our IGTV videos, which is like a behind the scenes vlog where you can really get to find out what's coming up with us and where we're thinking about going with My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to today. And our Instagram live streams, which air every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time. And you can come ask us questions about music or anything. We'll ask you questions, we'll bring the answers, we'll have a great conversation for about an hour. It's a great time, so I think you should join us. Links in the description below for all those. Now let's get that out there. Let's talk about the Chord Progression Podcast. It's our very own podcast where we go and get a more in-depth look at music, where we have like a lot of time that we can go off with. So we do plenty of things on there where I'll just talk about things that are going on in music, I'll talk about albums, I'll talk about experiences, I'll talk about concerts. Otherwise, I will bring on followers even, and we'll talk to them about music like we did this previous week with one of our good fans, our good long-standing fans, Logan, who was here for the Tool album, and we talked all about that. Also, we've talked to other small bands too, and that's a great way to get in on those small bands before they hit it big, like GFM and Ascending from Ashes, and Kingdom Collapse too. I should always mention them in there, because you can get on the ground floor with them and you can really get to know them. So listen to the Chord Progression Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and even here on YouTube. So link in the description below for those. And last but not least, if you're not subscribed or enabling our Amazon Alexa skill on your Alexa device, what actually are you doing? What I want you to do is hit the link in the description below and enable that device on your Alexa. So you can say, hey Alexa, play my song of the day. Alexa will say, playing your song of the day. And you'll get a quick 5-second intro from me about what song it is. You can hear the song in its entirety, and once it's over, you can play it again as much as you want until the day is done. Then the next day, you get a brand new song to listen to. It's a great way to, get the day going, get to the middle of the day, end the day, rediscover old bands, discover new bands, discover new songs, find songs you never heard about, and just listen to that. We also do a thing called Small Band Saturdays where you can listen to these smaller bands that are trying to make it big, and again, get on the ground floor with them. You can also hear 30-second previews on our Instagram page for the Small Band Saturday, but you can hear the whole thing on our Alexa skill. So make sure you subscribe to that and enable that. And I want to thank you all for being a part of the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 Today family and watching this video. It means a lot to me. If you subscribe, like, follow, whatever you want, send me a comment, send me a message. I will look at it. I will answer it because I'm the only one doing this. So I love to talk, guys. I love talking music. I love this whole entire thing. This is my passion. We're going to end it at that. So thanks for watching. This is Kevin from the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today YouTube channel. You know how I end these videos. Let's hat flip it. God can never get out of my head, but see ya!